Alright, we're reading more Kaguya-sama, the chapter 168, the last one ending on quite an interesting development. Kaguya acquiring a lewd DVD after some pretty comical sex talk. I still think that the series will find a way to kind of make this serious. They'll find... I don't know. They're just experts. The mangaka here are a complete expert in weaving the comedic and the dramatic, and to the genuinely moving. All right. Here, of course, is her second cousin, twice removed, Maki-chan, who always has had this very tense relationship with Shinomiya. What are you doing looking around here? It's a number of your dumb schemes, I bet. Oh my gosh, she's just wandering around with a DVD. I don't know if that's safe. I think this is basically asking for disaster, but you know, Kaguya, you do you. I guess you're pretty excited about it. She just wants to watch it right away. So we're continuing with this plotline. This is a little arc. The porn DVD arc. Going down in the annals of the series history. Thanks as always to Gemini's Box. They do some real good work. A tense shot. The two of them staring. Oh, and it looks like the TV anime 2-core second season production has been decided. Wow, that's exciting. I didn't watch the first season. I just decided I would read the manga. I thought the pacing would be better, but it looked like they had a really good time with it. Like the Chica dance, of course, is super famous now. They really put some love into it. So hopefully the second season will be the same. So before we get into the full swing of the porn DVD arc, a little flashback to when these two first met. Looks like at some very fancy gala when they were just children. Who'd have thought that there was any of the Branch family rats still left in Japan? Whoa. Damn. Damn the Branch family and the main family. What a terrifying dynamic. You know, this is kind of a plot point in a lot of different series and in real life as well. The idea of a branch family that supports the interests of the main family. There's this kind of hierarchical relationship between them. But yeah, usually it just seems like everyone is suffering. Dead rats give off the most awful stench when they start to rot. God. Kaguya's family is brutal. Is that her dad? We haven't seen all too much of her dad. Just ominously lurking. It's the Shinomiya family versus the Shijo family. The bitter conflict began several decades ago with the Shinomiya scandal. During the economic bubble, the Shinomiya group employed unsavory, self-serving business practices, which led to a faction of moderates to object to some of their more inhumane tactics. Conflict escalated, ultimately resulting in casualties, and the moderates were semi-exiled from the Shinomiya group. So this is quite interesting. I like the little interweaving into real Japanese history, the gigantic economic bubble that Japan had through the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and into the early 90s when the lost generation began and the economy just blew up in everyone's faces. That the Shinomiya family was one of those, what are they called? Not daimyos, you know, big companies that was pushing it, that was doing unsavory economic things, that were causing this terrible bubble. So that's kind of cool. I also think it's pretty amazing that Kaguya's family are like the bad guys. I don't know if this is something that will ever be like redeemed. I kind of don't think so. It'll be more a story of Kaguya shaking off the shackles of her family and moving forward as a totally independent person. So yeah, they're being pretty villainized here. They were the bad guys. They drove off the parts of them that were trying to moderate them. So moderates banded together and they established the Shijo group, taking up the name of those that perished in the conflicts. Jeez, the Shinomiya is really out here killing people. Due to constant interference from the Shinomiya group in the domestic market, they turned their attentions overseas and swiftly expanded their operations abroad, and now are a highly successful multinational company. We see some American ones fluttering They better not just be getting ones, but whatever. It's kind of interesting too, the emphasis on America, the emphasis on overseas business of the Shijo family, plus the fact that we know the president and hopefully Kaguya are going to Stanford in America. So I wonder, will the Shijos end up having some sort of supporting role? Will Kaguya be the one to quash the beef, at least on a personal level, and use the Shijo's connections to help them in America? Something like that could be cool. Okay, so we're back to the flashback. Maki wants to go play, but her dad warns, stay away from the Shinomiyas. This rapid growth was fueled entirely by their grudge against the Shinomiyas. The Shinomiya family is a cancer on Japan. Until they're eradicated, there is no future for this country. Wow. This is, like, they're not just villainized for the purposes of, oh, poor Kaguya is suffering. They're actually, like, just terrible people. A cancer on Japan. I like this, though. I like the villainization of a big corporation that doesn't have ethical principles, you know? To me, that's a good villain, because those are the villains in real life as well. Like, don't get it twisted. There's companies worse than the Shinomiyas that really exist. Believe they have the right to hurt others. People mean nothing to them. Their hearts are corrupt to the core. Sinwell Maki. War with the Shinomiyas is inevitable, so stay away from that girl. And of course, Kaguya hearing all of this. How could that possibly feel to little Kaguya? So Maki storms off. They encounter each other. Said I was a bother and told me to go read in the hallway. Ooh, the ugly duckling. So even though Shinomiya is born into this ugliness, she has the stain of the Shinomiya family on her. She'll grow up to be a beautiful swan? Something like that? Is that what we're going to be getting here? Wanna read it together. Ah. So she lights up for a second, but remembers. Even though she was mad at her father, she remembers his words. Wouldn't be caught dead reading with a Shinomiya. Proud member of the Shijo family, I don't want anything to do with the likes of you. 10 or so years since then, these two have maintained the same icy distance. That's pretty brutal, especially when you consider the sort of person that we've learned Kaguya is. Her many kind of shells and facades, and how it must probably was driving her crazy on some level. That she was driven away, that there was this rift in her family, between her family and the Shijo family. And we're getting all of this, all of this, as a little flashback in the middle of Kaguya's quest to watch porn. I just love it. Okay. I don't know a place. Okay. Shiwage-san instructed me to watch this by myself. So she doesn't really understand what it is yet. Like, she just knows she's been told to watch it by herself. She's planning on watching it at school, which is super dumb. But it doesn't seem like she knows why. Like, she doesn't really get what's going to be on there. Why not use a laptop? There's one in the student council room, right? I don't know how to use it. Yeah, Kaguya is a little technology deficient, but that's fine. So they head to the student council room, of course. Check it out. Ooh, the business talk begins. Family's international division signed a merger with a franc bank. Shijo Group's net worth over $1 trillion. That's pretty good. $1 trillion company. The fact that they use dollars here, was that translated, or is it because they're talking about foreign markets and stuff? It was $1 trillion, yeah. That's a lot less impressive. Information wasn't supposed to be public yet. You managed that much sooner were it not for your family's interference. Ah, I meant it as an honest compliment. It's impressive that you managed such a feat, even with interference from the Shinomiyas. So I think what Kaguya is starting to realize is that for her to be happy, she's going to have to stand up to her family. You know, and that's going to be a real dramatic arc in the future, I'm sure. I want to go to Stanford to be with my boyfriend. You're dead to me. um, and I think she's now seeing the Shijo family for what it is, which is the adversary to the Shinomiyas. Someone who has stood up to them before. Someone who stood up to them and survived and thrived. It's like, maybe I can learn something from this. Maybe Maki is actually the guiding light for me. In terms of assets, the Shijo group is now on par with the Shinomiya group. Whoa. During the New Year's, the main house did nothing but obsess with how to deal with the Shijo. Do you really think war is inevitable? How literal do they mean by war? This is intense. This is like real serious business stuff. This is the sort of thing that I thought they would always be talking about in Fukumoto's Gin Tokin. I think that's about stuff like this. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. But I didn't expect it in Kaguya-sama at all. I certainly didn't expect it in the chapter about the porn DVD. Like, it's so amazing to me that this whole chapter, very serious family drama, very serious economic drama, and economic wars that's break out between trillion-dollar companies. And the punchline. We know what the punchline is going to be from the start, that after all of this serious discussion, the DVD is going to start playing and it's porn. That's just like... I don't even know. How can you describe this? Maki-san, do you hate me? Oh, this is... Oh, man. Stay away from the... Answer is obvious. Do I have to spell it out for you? Or with the Shinomiyas, it's inevitable. But they had these experiences together. Yes. Always wish that you would just disappear. See. Thank you, I can handle the rest by myself. Always wished. Oh. And this idea that she's gonna finally reach out after all these years. Always. Oh, what's the DVD about? You see that recirculation? What's that book about? What's that DVD about? That finally she'll be the one to reach out. This bond after so many generations being reforged by the Shijo and the Shinomiya. And it's porn! It's gonna be a porn DVD. Oh my god! Want to watch it together. Oh my god. This is the stupidest. This is so amazing. Like, I can't. Oh my god. Like, in any series, any sane series, anything with any at all sense of respect for itself. There's so many things that this could be. Like, there's so many other ways they could have built this up. This could have been, it could have had so many different layers of significance. Like, what if it was like a movie that Shinomiya had been recommended because it was like a story like relevant to their situation that she was gonna, like, they were like, you should watch this. It shows that you can be strong and rebel against your family. Like Romeo and Juliet or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that's not a good example because they die. But like an uplifting story like that, right? And she's like, oh, I can't believe like Maki has to help me watch this. But then in the end, they watch it together and they're both so moved by the story and they kind of like take lessons from it, right? Like that's the normal way to write something like this. You build in that kind of significance. But instead, they derailed that entire thing, and the plot element that's been introduced isn't something that adds significance, but is something that undermines the tone and the emotional energy of the entire chapter, which was a huge, significant chapter in like world building and character building and relationship building. Oh my god, I can't get over this. This is just too crazy. Oh. Oh my god! my god! Oh, so they learned. The man is moving so strangely. Because... Okay, well, that's that one. Oh my god. It's freaking serious. Okay, yep, that's it for now.